a lot.
Good evening. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 302 Birds. We are back Wednesday, May 17th. Big week for 302 Birds. We got the Eagles Autism Challenge meeting up with our family on Saturday. We're really excited for that, to see everybody. The gingerbread man's going to be there. I know that, a ton of the players are going to be there. And then a bunch of our podcast members are going to be there, as well as a bunch of other content creators. I'm not 100% sure who's going. It is like about $350 minimum to go, so it is very expensive. I'm not going to lie. But it's for a great cause. So if you can come out on Saturday. Come hang out with us. The link is in our bio. It's not too late. We'll be there Saturday morning, probably 7 a.m., bright and early. Vinny is in here hanging out. Vengeance 69. What's going on, man? I just unmasked Batman. But there's a lot going on in the Philly sports world, especially when it comes to baseball. So I guess I would hit the weekly call-ins intro first, right, Jack? I mean,
yeah.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking how your day is, but their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302 Birds sent you. God bless, go Birds.
Yo, the burritos, and that sexy voice for that voiceover. Appreciate you guys. But tonight we got our fan favorite. We got Connor. Connor,
what's up, guys?
Hey, friend, how you doing today, Connor?
I'm doing all right. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing well. I'm fortunately I can't make it on Friday, but I know a bunch of us are meeting up with you two to see the White Sox.
Such a disappointment.
So,
it's also the Cubs that are playing.
It's the Cubs. It's the other Chicago team.
Yeah. The less good team.
Whatever. But how do you feel about that game?
I mean, I feel like the Phillies are going to win. At least I would want to see that. Don't really see the Cubs winning that. I mean, we have Marcus Stroman against Suarez. So I think Suarez has a good chance against them. Stroman's been struggling a little bit over the years. So, yeah, I think the Phillies have a good chance at that.
Tommy, how you feeling about these Phillies?
Not too good after today. Absolutely abysmal. Taiwan Walker's a joke. Trey Turner is the biggest bust of a free agent we have ever had. Got into a Twitter fight even with a guy today because he was like, oh, you're probably saying the same thing when Bryce Harper wasn't hitting so well when he first got here. Bryce Harper was at least competitive. Trey Turner swinging at stuff that's in the next county, Jack. In the next county. Trey Turner came up to play. He intentionally walked Bryson to load the bases in the ninth inning. Trey Turner is so much of a bum right now. He can't field. He can't run. In the seventh field, start to steal. Oh, he would just retreat back to first base and then cause the double play today. Hey, to end the inning in the seventh inning when they look like they could be doing something. Hey, he is awful this year. He's a waste of $300 million. He's a waste of a haircut. He's a waste of a fielder. He's a waste.
No. You are ridiculous.
He's batting.
You were probably saying
How
the same
ridiculous?
thing about Castellanos last year. You're probably screaming your head off, yelling at him because he swung at every single pitch. The guys were.
Was I wrong? Was I wrong though last year?
One play.
What's
but the
one
first game I remember. No, wait, Tommy. First game. What did Trey Turner do? Hit a home run, and you're on here screaming out how great he is. This is what the worst thing about Philadelphia media is, and we are part of the media. I don't care what anybody says here.
Sure.
Guy gets in a bad slump. We're like $300 million worthless. Oh my God, horrible. We go on the deep end and ready to jump off a goddamn bridge. relax. It's 122 games. Holy hell. This guy is telling me that he's swinging at the out of the county. This guy had some of the best baseball last year, Tom. You're being
He did, but that was last year.
Tom, we made the World
Fuck
Series.
him, Frank. Right now matters.
Trey Turner was on the Dodgers last year.
Yeah, exactly. And we didn't need him. But guess what? We have been better with him statistically.
Tommy,
No,
there's plenty of time. There's
No,
plenty of
We
time.
have a worse
Plenty
on-base
of
percentage.
time.
We have a worse
will be
batting
10 times
average
better than
at the
him.
same point at the same point to the season last year. Worse batting average, worse on base percentage, worse fielding percentage, more errors, less runs scored. Like statistically speaking, we are worse off today than we were last year at the same exact point in the season.
No way. There's just
Yes,
no way we're
our
worse.
batting average is 40 points lower. We were batting 468 last year at this point. I'm sorry. Hey, 268 at this point in the season. We are batting in 248 now this year. Here, lower batting average. Our on base 600 last year. Our on base percentage this year is only about 400. The only thing statistically better this year is we have in total more hits. That's it.
You are absolutely on. Oh my God, we got to trade everybody off right now.
No, that is not true.
You're in panic mode. You're in like the 25% of the season. You're in pure panic mode.
Yes, I'm in panic mode because this team has no direction whatsoever. And they had to make drastic changes at this point last year too. Taiwan Walker's been a disaster.
I'm not saying that. I think maybe we need to start looking at a new manager.
No.
Do you guys think? Hold on. That's actually wait. Do you guys think that the Phillies kind of operated on emotion last year, and they were kind of just like, "Oh, fuck it, we're going to the World Series." Philly robs the guy, and you're not telling me.
So here's the thing, and what I wanted to bring up like 2 weeks ago is we're kind of in the same mood right now where we fired Joe Girardi last year, and we hired Rob Thomas because it was kind of like Thompson, whatever. It was like, okay, well, this guy, he's not the best manager. Like he's the assistant manager, but he's gonna take over the season, and then he did obviously. And now we have more invested in him. Now we have 2 more years. Do we fire another manager and just keep that cycle? Every mid-season or beginning of the season, we just fire.
Yeah, but I think that sort of screws up you in the future because you'll never get a really good manager because they're going to be
exactly.
No, I 1000% agree that we are.
But at the same time, I think we need a shake up. I would like to see maybe the GM maybe shake something up or. You
need a GM. You need Dombrowski to trade someone.
I think you need to trade. I think you need to trade for a true first baseman because look, you're also forgetting Hoskins is not in that lineup. With him in that lineup, he could produce a lot more than you think.
You get Derek. I hate this comment. I've seen it so many times. Derek Hall's coming back.
Yep.
Yeah, I know Derek Hall's coming back, but
he's a true first baseman.
Still, I think that you, if you have the option to, you go out and get a CJ Cron. You go out and get at the trade deadline. You know, I feel like they will go after a first baseman because we really don't know how Derek Hall. He's good defensively, but he only hits for power. Like I mean, he gets base hits here and there, but
so did Ryan Howard, and look how that turned out. He was great.
Yeah, but
I just don't think first basemans are all that. I think that's overrated, the position.
You need
a hitter.
We're ranked dead last right now in the NL in starting pitching ERA. You need starting pitching.
Get a pitcher
you don't need a first baseman.
Our guy today didn't even make it all the way through the first inning.
No, he left after 2 outs.
That's how bad it was. Yeah, it was the first Phillies game that I've watched in like 3 weeks, and it was terrible.
It was disastrous.
And going back to Trey Turner too, he had 2 hits today. I mean, yeah, he struck out on a pitch that was in another county, like Tommy said. But I mean, he still had 2 hits. That's still
Yeah, he's
providing.
still
for the team.
producing.
Like, yeah, he's still
Not
producing.
really.
I mean, 2 hits in a game, that's pretty
2
damn
hits
good.
in how many games?
God,
Okay,
come
sure.
on.
Today he had 2 hits. How many games has it been since he's even fouled a ball off? I've watched several games in the last like 3 weeks where he can't even foul a ball off.
Yeah, and I mean, but
We've been
you
saying
also
this
got to
about
realize that
Castellanos last year, too.
players are going to
I
get.
did, and the Castellanos deserved it too.
Players
last
are going
year.
Players are going to get into slumps, and
Yeah, that's my thing. Players
That's
always-
like it's going to happen to anybody. You know,
And
I mean, Castellanos last year he was in a really, really bad slump and couldn't get out of it. But Trey Turner's too good of a player to be like this for the rest of the season. Like he said, there's 122 games. They're at the same spot that they were last year.
Well, I'll be like correcting it all that.
Thank you. More proving my point, Tom.
I don't think you move on from Rob
Moreover,
Thompson.
what did you guys think of the fight, though? Bryce Harper getting into it with what was it? The Yankees? Who was it with?
No, Colorado Rockies.
Rockies.
The Rockies. And before we get into this, Jack, real quick.
Time for Phillies talk with Ballpark Tommy. Finger stitch.
We kind of covered Ballpark Tommy in that skit, so I mean, we didn't really need that. But anyway, so that somebody that embodies, not giving up on his team is Bryce Harper. As you saw, he had started a fight with the pitcher because he called him a bunch of pussies, pretty much. And that's what we need. We need somebody like that on the Phillies that will play with heart, no matter how bad the season's doing or going. And that's Bryce Harper. I think what he was just shows him how dedicated he is to this team and to this city of Philadelphia. That's all I have to say for this.
Yeah. What I really liked was it wasn't even him and the batter's box. It was more of who was at the batter's box? Schwarber was in the batter box, and he got struck out. And then the pitcher started talking shit to Schwarber. And the first person to jump over is our other $300 million man, just screaming right about a yell. And if you actually look at Bryce Harper, he literally calls out. He goes, "Your whole organization is trash, just like your whole team." And it was just like, oh, he's not even going after just a player. He's going after the whole Rockies organization. And if you look at it actually in a long way, Cincinnati Reds, and then the second team that got in the most fights in the past 10 years is actually the Colorado Rockies. So it's actually kind of interesting that there's a little chip on those Rockies' shoulders when that's like probably one of the last teams I ever think of when I think of baseball is Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, but I want to know what the pitcher was saying to Bryce Harper to be like to have him that red hot, Like
he was making fun of Schwarber, and then you see him in the background saying STFU, and then the pitcher said, "What are you going to do?" And then that's when he hopped, and he goes, "I'll show you what I'm going to do."
And then he ran into the dugout like a little crybaby.
That's the thing, though. You can't get that to happen because with him being injured, Bryce Harper, and just getting out of the Tommy John, and he's wearing the brace, you can't have him swinging just knuckleballs at your face. Like, you can't have that happen because you need him to get back into the field, and you don't want to re-injure his arm or anything. I mean,
that's why I'm actually sort of surprised that Castellanos actually ran out, and he's a big boy. I would rather have Castellanos running out there and swinging because he's like, 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Take 2 steps and walk out of the dugout and be on the other side of the field. So,
I mean, Bryce Harper's 6'3".
Yeah.
So he's still pretty big. I mean,
I'll give Taiwan Walker this. He was like the first one to really run out too, all the way to the other dugout.
Yeah, that's the only
I'll
thing
give
he
him
can
that.
do. He can't
For as bad as he was today, I'll give him that.
And real quick, thank you to Cut as well for sponsoring this segment. If you guys haven't, make sure to download the Cut app today. That's the best place to bet on MLB games. I'm pretty sure even if we wanted to add a Bryce Harper fight over under the next time we play the Rockies, we could. I mean, I love the passion as a fan. I don't like the risk of getting suspended. That's the problem. It's a soft league now. It's a soft GM. You're going to get suspended for 5-6 games if anything happens.
The MLB
I know a lot of what it is nowadays is and that's all it ever is. You know what I mean? Like, it's just fucking talk. It's all bullshit.
Like,
it's all
my
bark,
thing
no
here
bite.
is-
90% of it.
When I
But
look-
that other 10%, if he gets hit in the face or anything else, there goes the season. You know what I mean? Even if he gets suspended, as Tom was ranting earlier, right now is the worst time to shit the bed. We're already shitting the bed in a way. So if he gets suspended for 5 or 6 games, I mean, he's our best player. We're fucked.
I don't think he's going to get suspended now because
No. It's fine now. I'm just saying he needs to be careful about this shit in the future.
Well, what I love about baseball, it polices itself. Seriously, I mean, if you show off in the batter's box, if you hit a home run and you just stand at home plate watching your ball, you know damn well you or your best player is getting beamed the next time they're up the bat. It's just old school. It's just by the book. It's just like, hey, man, you show off, you're going to get your buddy hit or yourself hit, and your buddy's going to be like, dude, why'd you do that? Now I'm going to get a fastball straight to the rib cage, or just a warning shot, you know?
Right.
So that's what I love about baseball, just looking at the book, like, okay, what is this guy going to do here? And the umpires know it's coming, and that's the best part, but they have to act dumb every time. And I think that's like the funnest part about baseball. It's just like, here it comes. That guy's going to get wrecked. Or when you argue, like when you have 2 strikes and you're arguing balls and strikes, you know that pitcher is not going to throw anywhere near that strike zone. And that umpire is going to call a strike.
Yeah, and you also, I mean, and you saw it earlier this season, I believe, with Zach Wheeler himself, because last year in the World Series, Maldonado, or whatever his name was, the catcher, he was talking some crap to Zach Wheeler in the dugout because I don't think he was pitching. And Zach Wheeler remembered this season and threw a ball that was behind his back, and then he was giving him warning shots. He was going to hit him. Yeah, I think it was on purpose.
Oh, no doubt. Oh, no,
100%.
I mean, the best video I've ever seen in my life was the Mets manager back in 2018 when Chase Utley was up the bat and got hit by a pitch, and the manager was mic'd up. I think it's like one of the greatest like baseball arguments with the umpire I've ever seen, because Chase Utley did a slide in the NCLS and broke the dude's leg. And it was like, okay, here comes the revenge pitch a year later, and it was just amazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's pretty much all we got for Phillies. Bridging it now to the Sixers, a little bit more depressing. Doc Rivers back on the unemployment market. Looking at some new coaches. I like some of these names a lot. Sam Cassell, Nick Nurse, Monty Williams, Frank Clark, and then, you know, there's some other names too, of course. I really would like Nick Nurse personally. I think what he did with the Raptors the year that they took us down and ended up winning the finals, I thought was brilliant. And I thought it was a great year for them for what they had. I thought that, truthfully, the Bucks probably should have went to the finals that year, but they didn't. And there were a lot of good teams in the East that year. It's not like the East nowadays. I would love Nick Nurse to come to Philadelphia. If not, give me Sam Cassell. Regardless, praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Doc Rivers is out of Philadelphia, everybody.
That was the worst coaching I've seen in 5 years.
That was horrible. And Brett Brown pretty much made it so fucking hard to top how bad that was. And then he was just like, hold my beer. Let me show you something.
Yeah. They went on a 15-1 run and never called the timeout. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I'm not the best basketball player, but you gotta try to cut up the, you know, juju a little bit after a 10-1 run. You just gotta go, all right, timeout. Maybe my guys are gassed. Maybe there's just miscommunication going on. We need something. And I just saw like that team just give up in the third quarter. I never saw a basketball team absolutely give up. And you even heard them in game 6 then. Now it's just going, wow, Harden and Embiid are just walking back to the court. And it was just really, really bad. And I'm not even blaming Embiid or Harden. I think they gave up on the coach. And that's my 2 cents on that.
But also, you're in the NBA. like no one should be giving up, period. I get the whole giving up on a coach thing. I've been on some bad teams where we all gave up on the coach, and that's not even professional ball. That's like high school ball and stuff like that. So I totally get what you're saying, Frank. And I think that plays a factor. Or you're still in game 6, game 7, that the whole team shows no heart whatsoever.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. Well,
Like looking at that, I just want Harden out. Like
I do too.
that's where.
Well, he already said today, apparently,
Yeah.
he already
he's
said
gone.
that he's not renewing his option. He wants to look at a longer term deal. Bro, what you just showed in the playoffs was the most inconsistent thing ever. There were a couple games where you were amazing, but I mean, like, you're not going to. I don't think you're going to get into a much better situation than what the Sixers were in. And it's going to be hard to find that.
He's going back to Houston.
I think that's
I could see him going to the Suns. What were you saying,
there's
Ash?
not enough strip clubs in Phoenix.
What were you saying, Ash?
No, I think Harden's gonna go back to Houston. I do. I was out of town for the last game that I watched was game 4. So I felt pretty good heading into that. And then on Sunday, I was gone for the entirety of the game and then just came back and my phone had tons of messages from, some from you guys and some from my family and just how terrible it was. I'm not surprised that Doc Rivers is gone. I'm happy that he's gone. I did read something to the effect right after the game that he said that he still thought that he had 2 years left in Philly, which the fact that he thought that the Phillies were going to continue to give him options, no, you've screwed us over enough. So I'm not surprised by that, but it is a mess to be. Is this the third year in a row?
Yes.
That we went out in the second round, and then before that we had 2 years in a row that we lost in the second round. It's 5 of the last 6, I think.
Oh yeah, 5 of the last 6. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, see, I don't know why James Harden would want to go back to Houston because that's a poverty franchise. I think you have a better shot with the Sixers, but I personally wouldn't want to see him on the Sixers again just because he's just too inconsistent. Like, he could have a 45-point game and then save the series or something like that, but we need that consistency. And I mean, if you're going to drop 15 to 20 points a game as a known shooter, that's not good enough. And it was just very disappointing to see that Joel Embiid was this lifeless out there. Like, I feel like that just showed that he only cared about the MVP trophy, and that was it. Like, he didn't want to go any further, and he said Cancun on 3. Like, he wanted to leave. That was it. But I mean, I wasn't as heartbroken as when the Eagles lost the Super Bowl or the Phillies lost the World Series, because it's a continuous problem. As a Sixers fan, you kind of expect it. And when you get matched up with a team that has a lot of playoff experience and was just in a previous finals, you can't really do anything about that. They're just a better shooting team. And when they're up 30 points, 20 some points, you can't come back from that because you don't have enough shooters to do it. But going on with the new coaches, I would like to see the Bucks coach maybe, because I mean, he wasn't a bad coach. They fired him after one, I guess, bad season, quote unquote bad season. But I mean, he took 2 finals for them, and I mean, I feel like he would be pretty good. I like Monty Williams a lot and Nick Nurse. So whatever works. I mean, whatever they feel like the best is. But
Swoop, Ryan Swoop, what's up, man?
I just don't think if Harden goes back to Houston, it just proves that, like my point, he doesn't want to bleed for a championship. He doesn't want one as bad as he does. Like, he wants that check. That's all he wants in my eyes. I mean, where is he going to go in Houston? He's not going to make it to the championship in Houston. And this is his best option. And he'll say that, I want to go back to Houston. Okay, cool, man. Like, that's good for you. But what are you going to do there? Oh, you're going to get paid for another 5 years and then coast to the sunset. And
I think we also got to look at, we always talk about with younger players, we talk about their maturity levels. I think Maxey was more mature than him, even. Like,
yeah, I think so too.
Like, let's compare James
I think
Harden.
Tobias played better and was more actually trying than the two superstars.
Like, let's look at I know they play different sports, but look at like James Harden and Jalen Hurts, just how they carry themselves off the field. No, you never hear about Jalen Hurts going to a strip club, doing something that like could be compromising to his character. Like, he always seems to be around the right people, doing the right thing, always trying to grind, trying to figure out different ways to be better. He's talking about how he can study film, how he can do something to improve his body, to keep up in shape, to improve his agility. What do I hear about James Harden doing? I hear him about how many nights he's been at Delilah's lately. What wing joint is he going to in Atlanta?
Bro, how'd you hear about Delilah's? Were you there yourself?
No, you told me about Dutch and all your
Oh.
He'd be going to cheerleaders too much.
Oh, how do you know about cheerleaders, Sean?
How do you know about cheerleaders, Sean? Whoa!
Yeah. Well, I mean, and also punching somebody at casino, that's not.
Yeah, like
come on.
But also, Tom, to your point, and I'm only gonna say this. I mean, those two players, yeah, they play two different sports, but a lot of people love Jalen Hurts. A lot of people hate James Harden. So that's another reason why you don't hear a lot of shit.
Another one.
Yeah. Greg, how we feeling? I know I saw you Saturday. You're hyped about the game Sunday, and then saw a text you Sunday, and you're a little upset. How are you feeling about our coach and what's the future for the Sixers? You're muted. Okay.
Right. That was like the worst technological downfall.
That was crazy.
Ever. I mean, here's the part that sucks. We lose to the Celtics, and they own us. Embiid's smiling at the end of it.
That's what pissed me off the most, was seeing how genuinely they just didn't care. They did not care.
And the biggest thing is like, look, I totally get it. You're, trying to be a good sport. You're probably friends with guys on the other team. You still shouldn't smile, no matter what. When we lost to Toronto, how did he react? He was bawling his eyes out. And I'm not saying you need to bawl your eyes out every time we lose in the playoffs. I'm just saying, like, show a little bit more emotion. Show a little bit more passion. Show that you care. Not that, okay, I just lost, but I won MVP and I got my check. All right, well, it's not like we were going to do shit anyway. I mean, I don't even know where the Sixers go from here, because it's like
they don't have any assets.
They don't. They have Joel Embiid, and look, he's great and he plays great and all, but I feel like the Sixers are going to have the same problem that I honestly think that the Nuggets have, or are going to realize that they're going to have, which is we have a big man, but we have nobody that can play with him. And, the big man's going to perform great during the regular season, but, we're going to never make it to the finals. I honestly think that the Lakers are going to go. I think LeBron's going to find a way to win it. Just watch.
I think so too.
And I mean, out of the two games, 6 and 7, it just seemed Joel Embiid was not there, and he wasn't trying his hardest. Like you could see it clearly, like he wasn't really trying in the first quarter into the second quarter in game 7. And then, all buddy with Jason Tatum afterwards. I get it. Congratulations. But he had no drive. I think out of this series with the Celtics, the most person that had the drive and worked hard and worked his ass off was PJ Tucker. And, a lot of people were questionable about when we picked up PJ Tucker, but he played phenomenal. His defense was great. He got boards, hitting those corner threes. He actually was trying his hard and pumping up his teammates. And I didn't see Joel doing that. I didn't see James Harden do that. That was PJ Tucker. So out of all the big men that all of our players in the series, minus Maxey, I feel like PJ Tucker was the one that worked his hardest and wanted to win the games and things like that. Harden and Embiid just kind of didn't really care to me, it seemed like.
Yeah, it was bad. and it is bad.
Yeah, no, I mean, see, and this is the big question right here because Joel Embiid's definitely not getting any younger, and it didn't seem like he wasn't in the best shape that he could have been in. He's always getting hurt. That's the thing, and he gets hurt when it matters most, is when you need to be healthy in the playoffs. But I mean, I don't know if I would mind seeing them trade him because, I mean, he's a great player. He's the MVP, but he has a lot of value right now, and if you trade him to a team like the Portland Trailblazers or wherever, I forget, like to maybe get Damian Lillard and a couple first rounders, then we could speak about maybe rebuilding. Or like, I forget where CJ McCollum plays. I think that's the Pelicans, I believe. You get CJ McCollum, he's a good asset, along with like 2 other players and then 4 first rounders. I think teams will budge, and with those 4 first rounders, 3 first rounders that you get, you could go pretty far, and you could rebuild the team. But I mean, it's just I would like to see them get Damian Lillard because Damian Lillard is known to be a good player. But I'm just not really looking forward to the Sixers. I mean, it's just they always lose. And
nothing's going to fucking change, Sean. I feel the same exact way. You just hit the nail on the head.
Yep.
So why don't we talk about something a little bit different because the Sixers are so depressing. Let's talk about Ben Simmons. I mean, there you go. Tom says it's a waste of a topic, Jack.
It is a waste of a topic. I'm not talking about this.
Yeah, no, this is stupid because he had the nerve to sit down next to his TV and post a picture of the Sixers losing when he didn't even play the last series and we just swept your team. He's a bum, and he always will be. I have no like. There's just no reason to talk about him. He's a bum. And that's just how I feel about it. He needs to work. I don't think he'll ever – at this rate, he might not even play another NBA game in his life because he's just horrible. I don't know. I mean, it's just not worth my time.
I think with him, the biggest thing is he's showing – it's more like him showing that we have real estate in his head. You know what I mean? Like he's watching us, you know what I mean? So I think it honestly was kind of a reverse effect is why I wanted to bring it up. I think it was like one of those things where he's like, yeah, look at you, but it's actually more like, oh, look at how stupid I look. He's got his glass of, red wine. He's got whatever the fuck else is like smart water or something. Bro, you're about to be unemployed in a couple years. You're about to be playing for the Shanghai Sharks. You better start drinking Deer Park or Poland Spring. Not fucking smart water with the alkalinity fucking reversed and like chemistry and all that.
Water. I like smart water.
He's making.
The point is, he can't afford it, Tom, because he's about to get unemployed. You're employed.
He's making Cancun his personality because he loves.
Can't stand him, and I think that it just shows how immature and petty he is, and I really, really. Really regret not taking Jason Tatum. I think we all do because that guy's clutch. I mean, I think what we realize now is the Sixers need a lead clutch player that's not Joel Embiid. That's really a point guard or shooting guard or somebody that can pop a three.
Well, we had one.
Exactly. Jimmy Butler. That's what I was about to say.
We had Jimmy.
Yep.
Butler.
Yep.
We had Jimmy Butler, and that's the thing. You kept Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler, and Ben Simmons he was also involved in that thing. But if you didn't get rid of Jimmy Butler, you could be where you're at now. Like, look, Jimmy Butler's taking the Miami Heat to another Eastern Conference Finals, and he's really because Bam Adebayo, he's out. Tyler Hero, he's out. Like, who do the Heat really have besides him that could produce those numbers?
Lowry.
If you had him on the team, I mean, Lowry, yeah, he's still good, but I mean, the star of that show is Jimmy Butler, and I mean, I think they should have never traded him because, I mean, maybe you could have got past the Celtics if you had him on your team, but I wouldn't mind them trying to trade back for him either. I don't know if he would want to come back, but trying to trade him.
I don't think he's wanting to come back. He got a really bad taste in his mouth. The Sixers screwed him over. In my opinion. But yeah, those are one of the biggest mistakes that we've ever made, in my opinion.
Gregor, how are you doing, buddy? Glad you're back. So what I was asking was, who do you want as a coach? Be brief, and then what do you feel like the future of the Sixers is going to? What do you want to see?
Personally, Monty Williams. Monty Williams, because he hasn't been able to show truly what his game plan can be with a big man that wants to play. We see DeAndre Ayton not wanting to play. That's the issue, right? He's a great coach. Situation, in my opinion. And could he be put in a bad situation with the Sixers? It could be. Let's see it. What was the second part of your question?
What the future of the Sixers? Like, what do you want to happen?
Future of the Sixers, I don't think includes James Harden as much as I wish it would want to. I think it includes a different player. Could it be Lillard? Could it be someone even better? Could it be a draft pick guard that can turn it better? We don't know. I don't think we need James Harden. James Harden's only getting older. He was great this year, but we saw two personalities from James Harden. We saw offensive Houston Rockets weapon James Harden, and then we saw playmaker James Harden, and he struggled with two personalities. He brought both of those personalities out Sunday. He was trying to facilitate too much, and then he wasn't trying to. When he was trying to be offensive, he kept mixing it up. He didn't look stable. He didn't look like he was confident in what he was doing because he didn't know what he was supposed to be playing that day. I don't think we need that on our team. I think we can go guards, free agency on time. The draft can also get something. I think the Sixers are going to be fine with Tyrese Maxey. I think Embiid will stay. It just depends on how we're going to handle the offseason. Let Harden go. We have a lot of cap. Trade Harris, possibly get a good player, have a lot of cap. Acquire key role players. We don't need 3 stars anymore. Build up our bench. We have a great bench. Build up a better bench. Build an all-around better team. And bring in a great coach, and we should be good for a late playoff appearance.
Would you think about it if we part ways with Embiid to get that good draft pick if we need to? Because I'm only saying that because we were talking about it before he came on, like the game 6 and game 7, Embiid looked like he wasn't there. He wasn't trying at all.
He looked like he wasn't there. But the positive out of this, height is an issue, but Paul Reed shows he can come play when Embiid's.
That's superstar Paul Reed to you. I love that guy.
Take a seat, buddy.
Yes, but look, this is the thing. If you trade away Embiid, you're not going to get that competitive and that elite of a player.
The only way you're going to get
probably ever again. I mean, it could happen, but it's just like I don't. It's not going to work out if you trade Embiid.
It's just a different caliber of player.
That's what I'm saying. You're not going to find another one. I mean, I agree. They do have a good bench, but if you could build that bench up where you could have players like, I mean, I love House. He's pretty good. And I like what's his name? We traded Matisse Thybulle for him. I forget his name, but he's pretty good. I like him off the bench. And I mean, of course, minivan.
So if you're talking about trading Embiid, you're going to have to trade it to. You're going to have a whole package. Like, I can't even begin to say what you need from him.
Yeah.
You need, like, the 3 starting players and make an elite starting 5 if you're trading for them. Like, you'd have to trade to the Pacers and get, like, Halliburton and Miles Turner. And even then, I don't know what the future of the Sixers would be because you do need that kind of star clutch player, but maybe Maxey. There's a lot of unknowns here.
A lot of unknowns for sure. Bridging over to our next topic. How you feeling about this, Greg? Jason Kelce apparently attended broadcast boot camp. So, yes, he's playing next year. He's got his podcast. But we don't know what's next after that. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that you would love listening to Jason Kelce as a broadcaster? What are you thinking?
I would love him as a broadcaster. I mean, he'd have some great takes. I think that's where he's starting to go, especially this New Heights podcast, right? I think he wants to do it. He's a fan of the game. He wants to contribute even when he can't be on the field. And who's to hold anyone back from doing that?
Agreed. Jack?
I mean, yeah. I'm glad he came back for another year. But, I mean, I listen to his podcast all the time, and he has the personality to be that announcer. And I think like Greg said, he wants to still be a part of football, whether that be on the field, not on the field, like in the booth. I think it's a good spot for him to be, whether it's going to be like an Eagles broadcaster or what. But I think it's another way, kind of what Tom Brady's doing. He still wants to be part of the game, but not on the field. And I think it's a good move for him because he's done so much for this team and he needs a break. But it'd be nice to hear that voice, on the radio or on TV.
Yeah, no, I mean, he definitely will be a great broadcaster, in my opinion. But that's after his career's over, and I'd rather see him as an Eagles broadcaster rather than just like what Troy Aikman does and all them, like Joe Buck. But I feel like, nobody will top Merrill Reese for the Eagles because Merrill Reese has been the voice of the Eagles for many, many, many years. Like I couldn't even tell you when he started, I forget, but I don't think anybody will top him. But if he's interested after Merrill Reese wants to go, then maybe I would. He definitely could.
You're right. He can just walk into any job that he wants. He's effectively the mayor of Philadelphia unofficially, so he can pretty much just walk into any job. And with his personality, his credibility, and his name, after that speech, he's golden.
Yep.
After that Super Bowl speech, man, he can do whatever he wants.
Yep.
Very true.
But that helps us bridge into our next topic, which is also relating to Jason Kelce. Tommy actually sent me this today, kind of relating to Christmas in a way. So since I guess we're talking about Christmas, I guess that I should let it start snowing on the show. Oh, how about that, Tommy?
Oh, wow. Wow, fancy.
Wow.
Jack's about to freaking cream on camera because he loves Christmas.
He's about to make a blizzard.
Jack, I got some good news for you if you didn't hear this yet. The fellas are running it back. Apparently, there was an Instagram post today, I guess by the producer or the sound guy who helps Kelce, Mulata, and Lane Johnson with their Christmas album. He said yesterday, and the photo has all the guys in the studio, was one of my favorite days in the studio I've ever had. So it sounds like there was a lot going on in Conshohocken. Did I pronounce that right, Tom?
What?
Conshohocken.
It sounds like there was a lot going on in Conshohocken. But another album's apparently coming, or a sequel, a follow-up album. So I am very excited for this follow-up album with Jason Kelce, Mulata, and Lane Johnson coming this holiday season. I'm going to be blasting it all year round.
No,
they are good singers.
Mulata's a really good singer.
Mulata's great.
Mulata's the man. And they sold out, when they dropped their original album within days. So, and I'm not sure where that money's going. I'm sure it's going back into the city or whatever. But I think it's smart. Something that these players are trying to give back to their community. I think is huge for these key players that they're doing something like this for their fans and things like that. I'm excited to hear it. I'll be playing it starting November 1st. If it drops then. I don't know when it's dropping. But I'm a big Christmas music guy.
Are you holly and jolly all the time?
All the time, dude.
Oh my God, yeah, he is.
Every goddamn day.
And Jordan, to answer your question, according to the Philadelphia Business Journal, it went to the Philadelphia area, including Children's Crisis Treatment Center in Philadelphia.
Which, exactly, something they're giving back to the community in both ways, which is huge.
Yep. Exactly.
Huge. But yeah, that's all we got about the Kelce album, I guess. Moving on now. I think that this would be a great pick for the Eagles. Not a great pick, but a great signing. He's still out there. The Eagles need, I think, somewhat of a veteran presence at Tom's face right now. He's like, what are you talking about, Dutch? Tom, hear me out on this. Eagles need somewhat of a veteran presence at linebacker. I
like Miles Jack.
I would love Miles Jack, right? Loved him when he was on the Jaguars. I think he was kind of underrated on the Steelers. Not so good maybe towards the end of his career. the last
He's a
couple
good
games, but he's a
backup.
productive player. I mean, in 103 games, 6.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, one of them being off of a fumble, one of them being a pick six, and then 617 tackles. So for that reason, I think that the Eagles should look to sign Myles Jack. I know that when he came out of college, he was primarily a middle linebacker, if I'm not mistaken. Now he's used as an outside linebacker. Hell, I'd fucking use him as a middle linebacker on this team. I think he's got that sideline to sideline speed that he would fit in perfectly. And I think that Sean Desai would utilize him very correctly. He's 27 years old. He's very matured. He's played, like I said, 103 games in the NFL now. Hell, come here and get a ring, man.
I think if we can get him cheap for a year just to kind of get that veteran presence there, to kind of trade up some of the new guys, I think that could be a really great fit. He's not a player that prior to this week I was very familiar with. However, his stats are really, really solid. And I think if Howie Roseman could make it happen, I definitely would not be opposed to it by any means.
Tom, Greg, Jack.
Bring him on, man. Bring him on. That's all I got to say.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
have to get more depth,
definitely a good player. And like Ashley said, like we would need somebody to train these young bucks coming up. These rookies, these Nakobe Dean players that are in the second year, they haven't started yet. I feel like that veteran presence would really help out. How to read the offense, things like that. So I think it'd be a smart role and a key move to make. But we'll see. I mean, if it's worth the money, then yeah, for sure. But I honestly don't think money's a thing. I think money's fake in the NFL right now. Just how they can work it in deals. So
I appreciate fake money.
yeah, you're a monopoly guy, big monopoly guy.
Big monopoly guy.
Big monopoly.
I even play if you land on free parking, you get the pot in the middle.
Yep. No,
Yep.
That's how I play too. That's
So,
Tom, shouldn't you be the person making sure everyone has real money?
Shh. Everything's fake. Politicians are corrupt.
Wrong.
All politicians are
Wrong.
corrupt. Trust me.
The football podcast.
I know.
Conspiracy podcast.
Well, sometimes we do conspiracy theories, but that's everything we got on Myles Jack. Now moving on to our last topic of the night. Taylor Swift came to Philadelphia, and it was quite a shit show, to say the least. I thought that the Philadelphia Eagles were the most wild people, to tailgate at the Link, to have, fun at Lincoln Financial Field. Boy, was I surprised. Swifties put Eagles fans to shame. I mean, they came, they saw, they conquered. These girls that you're seeing on your screen, they came after their prom. Imagine that kind of commitment, that after prom, they wanted to come see Taylor Swift. They cared that much. Look, I'm not saying that, there's any Eagles games in May during prom season. I'm just saying that takes a lot. And it was really cool to see Taylor Swift come back to Philadelphia, her home. She's originally from Wyomissing, Pennsylvania, not too far from Reading. And she comes home and she delivers. She puts on a spectacular 3-day show. And basically, well, not even basically, comes out and admits that she's an Eagles fan, confirms it. And the crowd goes nuts. Absolutely bonkers. You love to see it.
I mean, they're a loyal fan base, man. Like everyone has their own thing, but people, as someone whose girlfriend loves Taylor Swift, they love Taylor Swift, and that must have made them go crazy, especially that Eagles fans out there.
Yeah, and I feel like every time she has a show, she always puts on full force, and it was nice to see the city, outside of the stadium, fans were just lined up and just vibing with her. And it's nice. Actually, I didn't know that until she came out that she's from PA and that she's an Eagles fan, that we have somebody as famous as her. But I think it was, she definitely delivered for these fans.
Jack, how could you not know? She got her start with the Reading Phillies. She got her start with the Sixers singing the national anthem. She sang at the 08 World Series for the Phillies. She is a queen.
I didn't know that. I did not know that at all.
My cousins from Reading went to school with her.
In all seriousness, I will give Tom some credit. Tom has been a Swiftie for a while. I remember freshman year in the showers at St. Joe's hearing like songs like Taylor Swift. And I was like, who the fuck is listening to Taylor Swift? And then Tom would walk out from the shower. Yeah, it would be like, understand you've been here all along. Tom, go ahead.
So you know it. What?
Yeah, I know it. I don't know the words. Like, I was watching an interview. Shout out to our friends at Enterprise Sports. And there was an interview where they asked this guy, they're like, what's your favorite Taylor Swift song? Dude's drunk. He's got all the Taylor Swift shit decked out. You know what I mean? And he goes, you know, the one that goes like, Starbucks lovers, they'll tell you I'm insane. And that was like the only part that he knew was Starbucks lovers, but he kept saying Starbucks lovers. It was awesome. But it was cool to see like the community, like Jack said, and she delivered for these fans, and that's what matters.
See, I think all 4 major sports could take a page out of her book. See what happens when you actually treat your fans right. She tries to do right by her fans. I will say that her tickets may cost $1 million, but it's not her fault. It's like Ticketmaster and all them.
I mean, that show was fucking nuts too.
She puts on a fabulous show.
And
she's a queen.
She caught out the security guard.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, she got him picked out. Yeah.
All I can think about now is how Tommy was probably playing that music while I was in the bathroom, like while I was in the stall.
Greg's probably in the stall like, what douchebag is listening to Taylor Swift on full volume at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday? And then Tom just walks out. What's up, Greg? Watch the Phillies game yet?
Well, I'm in battle in the stall.
In battle?
You know, Tom's workout playlist is all Taylor Swift. 1,000%.
That is not true.
But lying.
It's about 30%, right?
It's still not true.
20.
It's probably about 10%.
Ooh.
Okay, that's a lot still, but still pretty impressive. I'm happy about that.
The other, like, what's probably 30% is Morgan Wallen, if we're being perfectly honest. But I have beef with him now because he strained his voice and now I can't go to his concert. But Taylor,
I know I have beef with Morgan Wallen too, Tom. I actually was gonna go to the concert June 18th. I was gonna try to go, and man, oh man, he strained his voice, and I heard now that he's not even gonna come back until next May.
Yeah, it's not until next year now.
That's so swag.
So, but Taylor would never do that because Taylor's a queen.
Tom.
And when we were in Nashville, we got that picture with her sign there too, so it was pretty cool.
I'll send you that picture. She was great. What?
But that's all I got tonight. I don't know if Jack's got anything else. Otherwise, I'll kick it to him to do what he does. And thank you everybody who stopped through for a brief show tonight, but a great show. And we'll be back next week to break all this stuff down. And once again, thanks to our sponsors, Cut and TickPick. If you guys haven't already, download those apps. And if you'll be at the Phillies game and you're listening to this on Thursday, so tomorrow, or if you're listening to it on Friday and today, or if you'll be at the Phillies game this Friday in general, please meet up with us. We'd love to see you guys and get some pictures. Jackson, take it away.
Yeah, sorry Ash can't be there on Friday. I'm gonna miss you and Connor.
I think we're going to Hibachi tomorrow night if you want to come, sweetheart.
Might be the move for sure. I may have to join in on that. But as my one friend said, it's an intro. Nope, I'm sorry, Jep. It's an outro. So Dalton, it's not an intro, it's an outro. Hit that outro.
Rivers.
Taylor, you belong with me.
Call me XT Swift forever.